Zara Voss adjusted her emerald green coveralls, wiping a bead of sweat from her forehead as she tightened the last bolt on the atmospheric regulator in the humid corridors of Stellar Nexus Academy. The elite institution for the galactic elite's offspring was a marvel of engineering, a sprawling complex suspended in the misty clouds of Elysium Prime, where gravity fields created walkable paths among floating platforms and bioluminescent vines that wove through the architecture like living veins. Most days, Zara moved through these ethereal halls like a shadow, fixing leaks in the hydroponic systems or recalibrating the anti-grav lifts that connected the Academy's tiers. The affluent alien parents rarely noticed her, their gazes drifting over her human form as if she were just another maintenance drone in the background. The students were no kinder, their telepathic whispers buzzing in the air whenever she entered a chamber to repair a flickering holographic projector or unclog a nutrient feed line. "Just another shift in the clouds," she muttered under her breath, her voice lost in the soft hum of the Academy's life support systems. It was late in the cycle, after the primary learning hours, and the Academy had quieted to a serene whisper. Zara preferred these twilight hours. No haughty stares, no dodging entitled younglings zooming on personal hoverboards, just the rhythmic whir of her tools and the gentle sway of the floating structure. As she navigated her hover cart toward the botany wing, a faint, melodic hum caught her ear. Zara paused, her head cocking as she pinpointed the source. It emanated from Greenhouse 7C, a specialized chamber for exotic xenoflora studies. The translucent door was ajar, allowing a sliver of verdant light to spill into the misty hallway. Zara approached warily, peering through the gap. Inside, a small figure huddled on a low, anti-grav bench. She was a young Valari girl, perhaps 7 or 8 cycles old, with delicate lavender skin that glowed faintly under the greenhouse's grow lights. Her ebony hair cascaded in tangled waves around her face, which was smudged with a shimmering green sap, likely residue from some botanical therapy. The girl attempted to wipe her face with her sleeve, but her movements were jerky and imprecise, spreading the sap further. A soft, frustrated trill escaped her lips. Zara hesitated for only a moment before easing the door open. "Hey, little one," she said gently, her tone warm and reassuring. "Looks like you've got a bit of a mess there." The girl's head jerked up, her wide, silver eyes rimmed with subtle iridescence, widening in alarm and curiosity. "It's all right," Zara soothed, stepping closer slowly. "I work here. Name's Zara Voss. I'm the one who keeps all this greenery from wilting." The girl regarded her for a long beat before nodding faintly. "I'm Elara," she replied, her voice a soft chime, weak but melodic. "Nice to meet you, Elara." Zara knelt beside the bench, meeting the child's gaze at eye level. She reached in her cart and pulled out a clean absorbent pad, moistening it with neutral solvent from her toolkit. "Mind if I help clean that off? That sap can irritate if it sits too long." Elara studied her again, then gave a small nod. With tender, precise motions, Zara began dabbing away the green residue. Elara tensed at first, but soon relaxed. Her silver eyes, fluttering, closed briefly. "Better?" Zara asked after a minute. Elara nodded, a tiny smile breaking through. "Much better. Thank you. No trouble at all. What is this stuff, anyway?" Zara inquired curiously. "Photosynthetic enhancer gel," Elara explained in that earnest way children tackle big concepts. "It's meant to boost my energy conduits, but it stings and makes my skin itch." Zara winced in sympathy. "Sounds tough. You're handling it like a champ, though." "Mother says Valari endure trials with grace," Elara recited, though her tone hinted at repetition fatigue. "Well, I think even graceful warriors need a helping hand now and then," Zara replied with a wink, drawing a brighter smile from the girl. She was about to add more when the greenhouse door hummed open fully. "Elara, the shuttle is..." The voice halted sharply. Zara turned to face the most captivating woman she'd ever encountered. Tall and poised, with vibrant violet skin that shimmered like polished amethyst under the grow lights. She stood rigid in the doorway, her amethyst eyes, slitted like a cat's, narrowed in sharp assessment. Her attire, a sleek executive jumpsuit under a flowing cape of iridescent fabric, exuded authority and fortune. Zara instantly recognized Nyra Kael, the widowed magnate of Kael Quantum Energies and one of the richest beings in the quadrant, and clearly Elara's mother. "What are you doing with my daughter?" Nyra's voice was measured, but laced with an edge like sharpened crystal. Zara rose slowly, mindful of appearances. "Ma'am, I was just assisting." "Mother," Elara interjected eagerly. "This is Zara." She cleaned the gel off my face. It was itching so badly. A ripple crossed Nyra's flawless features. Surprise, reevaluation, maybe a hint of chagrin. Her eyes flicked between Elara's clean face and the damp pad in Zara's hand. I see, she said at last, her tone thawing slightly. That was thoughtful. Just part of the job, ma'am, Zara replied humbly, though botanical cleanup wasn't exactly in her maintenance description. Nyra's gaze held hers a beat longer, something inscrutable in those violet depths. Then she composed herself. Come, Elara. Dr. Silas awaits for your evaluation. She approached to guide the anti-grav bench, her elegant violet fingers grasping the controls. Bye, Zara, Elara called as they moved toward the door. Thank you. Anytime, Sprout, Zara answered with a genuine grin. Just before exiting, Nyra paused and glanced back. For a fleeting instant, her regal facade softened to reveal curiosity. Your name? Full name. Zara Voss, ma'am. Nyra nodded, filing it away. Thank you for your help, Ms. Voss. With that, she departed, leaving Zara alone amid the glowing plants, pondering the encounter and why her pulse quickened inexplicably. For cycles later, Zara was recalibrating a climate control panel in the Academy's central atrium, a vast, open space where mist cascaded like waterfall from upper platforms, when her comlink shirked. Voss, report to my office at once. Zara furrowed her brow. In her 8 months at Stellar Nexus, she'd never been summoned by Director Vosser, a burly Quarian with tentacles for appendages and a penchant for bureaucracy. On my way, she responded, securing her tools before heading to the administrative spire. Director Vosser's aide, a fidgety Lamari with glowing antennae, ushered her in immediately. Inside, not only Vosser awaited, but Nyra Kael sat gracefully in a guest chair, her amethyst eyes locking onto Zara instantly. Ms. Voss, Vosser intoned deferentially. Ms. Kael requests a private discussion. Use my office. Before Zara could reply, Vosser slithered out, sealing the door. Ma'am. Zara nodded respectfully, staying on her feet. Is Elara all right? Nyra's expression flickered with surprise. Your immediate concern is my daughter's well-being. Noted. She motioned to the opposite seat. Sit, please. Zara obliged, feeling awkward in her work gear against Nyra's polished ensemble. A form-fitting suit of metallic weave that complemented her violet hue. Elara is stable, Nyra continued. But she speaks of you incessantly since our meeting. The human who wasn't scared to help me, she says. Zara tilted her head. Scared? Why would anyone be scared? Many are, Nyra replied, scrutinizing her. Her affliction is uncommon among Valari. Some fear contagion, despite science proving otherwise. That's absurd, Zara blurted, then checked herself. She's just a kid. Precisely. A faint smile touched Nyra's lips. I've investigated you, Ms. Voss. Former interstellar fleet engineer, commendations for ingenuity under duress, expertise in biomechanical systems. Yet now you maintain school facilities. Zara shifted. The Void Wars reshaped priorities for many. The Epsilon Eridani skirmishes, Nyra nodded. Humans proved resourceful against the Vortak horde. Your kind was undervalued. We thrive on being overlooked, Zara said with quiet pride. Nyra leaned in. I have an offer, Ms. Voss. I wish to employ you as Elara's personal attendant. Zara blinked. I'm a mechanic, Ms. Kael. You're an engineer with biosystems knowledge who showed more empathy to my daughter in moments than prior attendants have in cycles, Nyra countered, her eyes intense. Compensation will reflect the role. She passed a holopad. Zara glanced at the figure and nearly gasped. That's substantial. It's fitting, Nyra said evenly. The position includes residence at my compound, escorting Elara to sessions, and aiding her therapy. Your engineering background suits her adaptive tech needs. Tech needs? Zara arched a brow. Any risks I should know? Nothing acute, Nyra replied swiftly. But as heir to Kael Energies, Elara draws attention. Industrial rivalry is fierce here. Zara sensed omissions, but pressed on. What does Elara think? Nyra's brows lifted, unaccustomed to such queries. She's insistent. Hire the human with the steady hands, she demanded. Zara smiled. Smart kid. She is. Nyra's gaze softened. So, Ms. Voss, do you accept? Zara waited. The pay was life-changing, but more so, helping Elara tugged at her. I do, on one condition. Nyra's eyes narrowed. Call me Zara. Ms. Voss sounds too formal. Nyra's tension eased, amusement glinting. Agreed, Zara. In private, you may call me Nyra. Publicly, maintain decorum. Deal, ma'am. Zara teased lightly, earning a subtle eye roll. Nyra rose, extending her hand in human fashion. Zara took it, Nyra's skin cool and silken, sending a spark through her. For Nyra's slight breath hitch, she felt it too. Tomorrow, then, Nyra said, releasing slowly. As she left, Zara called Nyra. She turned. Thanks for trusting me with Elara. I won't disappoint. Vulnerability flashed before Nyra's mask returned. Ensure you don't. But her tone held warmth. The Kael compound floated atop a massive anti-grav platform in Elysium Prime's upper atmosphere, overlooking swirling storm clouds and occasional aurora bursts. As Zara's shuttle descended, she admired the design. Sleek spires intertwined with energy conduits pulsing like veins, gardens of floating orbs growing rare crystals. Stunning, she whispered, her toolkit bag at her feet, a humble contrast to the splendor. The shuttle landed smoothly. Greeting her was a squat, armored Draxon with ridged scales and a gruff demeanor. Ms. Voss, he rumbled. I'm Grant, Chief of Staff. This way. No warmth, just duty. Zara followed into the compound. Interiors blended tech and nature. Hollow walls displaying starfields, furniture of adaptive smart matter. Yet it felt clinical, lacking homely vibe. You're sweet, Grant announced at a door. Ms. Kael and the young one are at a session. Return in 2 hours. Review Elara's protocols meantime. He handed a hollow pad. Staff knows your role. His tone implied disdain. Thank for the intro, Zara quipped cheerfully. Grant's ridges furrowed. Meals at 1800 sharp. Don't delay. He lumbered off. Zara's suite was luxurious, but neutral. After stowing gear, she delved into Elara's files. The data chilled her. Elara had quantum flux disorder, a rare Valari genetic ailment, disrupting energy conduits, akin to neural pathways but for bioenergy flow, leading to progressive weakness and eventual stasis lock. Therapies involved aggressive energy infusions, effective marginally but with harsh side effects. Fatigue, sensory overload, potential conduit burnout. This is brutal for a kid, Zara murmured. A chime sounded. The door opened to a lithe, feathery Avari with multicolored plumes. Pardon intrusion, she chirped in accented standard. Lyra, nutrition specialist, brought sustenance for human. The tray held not water, but a steaming cup of tea, Earl Grey from scent. Tea, Zara asked, touched. How'd you know? Lyra's plumes ruffled in pleasure. Humans favor leaf infusions. Studied preferences. Zara chuckled. Spot on. Thanks, Lyra. As Zara reached, Lyra leaned in. Caution. Some staff distrust humans. Avoid consumables not from Lyra or Ms. Kael. Zara paused. They'd spike my food. Not lethal, Lyra whispered, but discomforting additives. Draxons especially resent humans, claim you disrupt harmony. Charming, Zara said dryly. Why the hate? Lyra's plume shrugged. Humans ascended fast post-wars. Some envy, others fear. Avari like me. Vortak enslaved our worlds. Humans aided freedom. We grateful. She bowed. Must go. Observe closely. Post-Lyra, Zara sipped tea, perfect, and mulled the warning. Hostility she could manage. Impacting Elara? Unacceptable. She explored the compound, mapping routes, old fleet habits. Staff gave cold shoulders, Draxons glaring openly. In Elara's wing, she found her chamber, therapy bay with energy harnesses, and med suite rivaling a starship infirmary. Examining an energy modulator, a voice startled her. Intrigued by my daughter's ailment, Ms. Voss. Zara spun to Nyra in the doorway, clad in a casual robe flowing like liquid silk. The sight captivated. Just grasping the tech, Zara recovered. These infusions seem harsh for her age. Nyra's eyes flashed. Defensive? Guilty? They're essential. Progress demands endurance. Side effects look severe, Zara pressed gently. I didn't hire you to critique medical choices, Nyra snapped. Your role is support and comfort. Zara held firm. They're intertwined. If tech harms more than helps. You've been here hours, Nyra cut in, advancing. Don't presume expertise over me. Tension crackled, charged with undercurrents. Even irate, Nyra was magnetic. Where's Elara? Zara shifted, resting post-session. Nyra softened fractionally. You'll see her at meal. I've met staff. They're unwelcoming. Nyra dismissed. Irrelevant. Focus on efficacy. If hostility hampers me, it hampers Elara. Nyra paused. Point taken. I'll address. She eyed Zara anew. You prioritize Elara consistently. Unusual. It's the job, Zara noted. Yet most seek my favor, not hers. I'm not most. Evidently not. Nyra murmured, gaze lingering. Meals at Kael were formal. The dining hall featured a crystalline table under a dome showing storm vistas, set with glowing utensils. Zara, in provided attire, felt misplaced. Nyra presided ahead in an elegant dress highlighting her violet grace. Elara, in her energy chair, lit up at Zara. Zara, Mother said you'll stay. Yep, Sprout. Zara grinned, sitting opposite. Cool with you. Best ever. Elara beamed. Tell Earth tales? Wars? Mother calls you clever. Zara glanced at Nyra, who busied with her plate. Clever, eh? Happy to share Earth stories. Grant and Draxon servers moved stiffly, serving Zara last with disdain. Post-session feel? Zara asked Elara, ignoring slights. Tingly. Arms, ecto immobile. Echo pain, good sign, conduits active. Really? Elara brightened. Dr. Silas never explains, just endure. Knowledge empowers, Zara shrugged. Human view. Grant interjected, pouring Nyra's nectar. Valari tradition. Info burdens youth. Yet she's calmer knowing, Zara countered mildly. Nyra watched intrigued. Balance perhaps. Meal continued with Elara's school chatter, Zara deflecting Grant's jabs amiably. Nyra's gaze often met Zara's, thoughtful. Dessert arrived, color-shifting orbs when Elara stiffened. Mother again. Convulsions hit, chair vibrated. Seizure, Zara barked, rising. Grant mid-team. Grant hesitated, eyeing Nyra. Now, Nyra ordered, fear-cracking voice. Zara eased Elara to floor, positioning safely. Frequency, twice. Nyra knelt, vulnerable. Doctor said normal. Not normal, Zara muttered, noting paling skin. Energy overload. Med team rushed. Two spindly Zorith with multifaceted eyes. Move. Human, Lee demanded. Primitive grasp. Zara ignored, checking. Infusion too high for her flux rate. Calculated precisely, Doctor scoffed. For standard Valari, not her variant. Seizure worsened, foam at lips. Crashing. Flush now. Outrageous. But Nyra commanded do it. Zara used her fleet kit, administering stabilizer and accelerant. Tensions mounted, then spasms eased. Stabilizing, second doctor admitted. She needs adjusted infusions, Zara said. Lead bristled. No authority. Humans saved her, Nyra iced. Include Zara in decisions. Post-transfer, Nyra touched Zara's arm, electric. Thank you. Zara, covered hand. We'll fix this. Moment lingered, unspoken. Zara stayed overnight monitoring. Morning, Elara rested peacefully. Nyra entered, weary but elegant in tunic. All night. Fleet habit. Nyra's fingers brush shoulder, spark. She responds well. Fighter like mother. Nyra flushed faintly. Perhaps. Onset. 5 cycles. Minor fluxes, then worsened. Nyra's pain showed. Her father pioneered therapies. Died 4 cycles ago. I continue. That's why committed despite risks. Judging. Empathy. Grief clings. Before reply, doors hissed. Tall Zorith strode in, furious. Protocol changes? Dr. Silas demanded. I authorized Nyra calm. After flux crisis. Acceptable reaction. Human intervened. Saved her, Nyra sharp. Silas glared. Humans lack quantum med knowledge. Fleet biome, treated Valari, Zara corrected. Overload from variant flux. Silas reviewed data, surprised. Anomaly, but not conclusive. She's peaceful now, Nyra noted. Continue modifications. Irregular. Human unqualified. Collaborate, Zara suggested. Silas stiffened. Refuse. Resign, Nyra cold. Silas conceded stiffly. Post-exit, Nyra sat exhausted. Intense. Silas tied to father's work. Hard. Zara gentle. Balancing legacy and best for Elara. Nyra vulnerable. You see through easily. Human empathy. Nyra smiled. Surprising species. Full of them, Zara winked, deepening flush. Elara woke hungry. Laughs ensued. Post-meal, Nyra led to study, cozy with crystal tomes. Father's notes. Zara audit data. Thorough. Review. Fresh eyes. Hands brushed, lingered. Rest, Nyra husky. Long night. Wise, Zara agreed. Contact unbroken. Zara Nyra soft. You care beyond duty. Rare. Just job more. Nyra kissed cheek. Cool spark. Good night, Ms. Voss. Night, Ms. Kael. Zara touched spot, heart racing. Reviewing notes, she knew boundaries blurred. 3 weeks post-crisis, Zara escorted Elara to Academy's Quantum Gala in fitted gown, vigilant for relapses. Elara improved markedly. You look pretty, Elara said in foyer. Mother will agree. Zara fidgeted. She's busy tonight. She notices you, Elara teased. Nyra descended in gown like captured lightning, violet skin radiant. Breathtaking, Zara breathed. Likewise, Nyra smiled, appraising. You suit elegance. She does. Elara giggled. Weeks brought shifts, sessions turned personal, shared histories, attractions growing. Tonight, Elara's public return, Nyra's board meet. United on therapies, Nyra reminded. Silas, uncooperative. Threatened, Elara said. You're better. Elara. Nyra chided, amused. Shuttle ride, Elara chattered. At gala, glittering elites noted trio oddly. Miss Kael, oily voice. Tall, scale vortac remnant, eyes sly. Elara attends, delightful. Zara tensed. Director Vex, Nyra cool. New protocol works. Vex-eyed Zara. Human behind changes? Zara Voss. Handshake reluctant. From maintenance to med? Versatile like scavengers. Nyra tensed. Vex heads rival analysis. Intriguing, Zara mild. Curious on your take of father's energy breakthroughs. Vex flickered. Bored soon. Post-Vex, Nyra archbrow. Bold. Testing, Zara murmured. Later, private. Elara mingled. Zara watched. Silas conversed with Vex, glancing. Ms. Voss, Director Vosser. Elara improved remarkably. She's strong. Rumors. Board worries human in Rivalry protocols. And Silas vocal. Vex questions impropriety with Ms. Kael. Impropriety? Zara angered. Humans manipulative, some say. Using Elara for wealth. Baseless. Agreed. Warning. Kael has foes. Commotion. Older students harassed Elara. Zara intervened. Issue. Scaled youth sneered. She shouldn't be here. Weak drain resources. False. Elara defiant. Rivalry Kael weak. Natural. Zara stepped. Strength's character, not body. Lacking yours. Father's influential. He'd love hearing son bullies kids. Group retreated. Elara smiled. Epic. Com buzzed. Lyra panicked. Silas tampered Elara's drink. Zara knocked glass. Tampered. Scanned. Flux inhibitor. Lyra, TX. 9, and stabilizer. Cleared area. Vosser. Poisoned Silas. Board doors burst. Nyra rushed. What? Silas poisoned. Administered antidote. Facility now. Security hunted Silas. Vex approached, feigned concern. Misunderstanding. No, deadly. Suspected Vex, Zara accused. Altered protocols post-father's death, ensuring failure. Nyra blazed. True. Timestamps to Vex. Lies. Father's recording, confrontation. Access. Gave her Nyra calm. Board voted suspension. But Elder intervened. Vote invalid. Misinformed. Evidence compelling. Detain Vex. Vex grabbed Elara, disrupt her to neck. Back. Let go. Nyra pleaded. She's heir, mine by right. Father promised. Delusion. Zara distracted. Humans excel at Elara bit. Zara struck disarming. Security took Vex. All right. Nyra asked. Fine. Elder. Gratitude. Saved, uncovered. Job. Med checked Elara. Nyra pulled aside. New. Suspected proof first. Nyra wondered. Surprise always. Good ways. Best. Kissed promise. When Violet Billionaire saw a human mechanic aiding disabled child, best decision. Brought home. Zara grinned. Humanity wins. Nyra laughed. Indeed, in the cycles that followed the dramatic revelations at the Quantum Gala, the Kael compound underwent a profound transformation. What had once been a fortress of cold efficiency, suspended high in the swirling mists of Elysium Prime, began to pulse with a new kind of energy, one born not from quantum conduits or corporate machinations, but from the quiet warmth of connection. Nyra Kael, the violet-skinned magnate whose life had been defined by boardrooms and balance sheets, found herself navigating unfamiliar terrain. Her amethyst eyes, once sharp with calculation, now softened at unexpected moments, lingering on the human who had upended her world. Zara Voss, the resourceful mechanic turned guardian, dove into her expanded role with the same unyielding determination that had seen her through the Void Wars. No longer confined to mere maintenance, she became the architect of Elara's recovery, redesigning therapies with a blend of human ingenuity and Rivalry tech. The compound staff, initially resistant, began to thaw. Grunt, the gruff Draxon chief of staff, grumbled less about human meddling and even offered terse nods of approval when Zara's modifications yielded results. Lyra, the feathery Alvari nutritionist, became an ally, her plumes fluttering with excitement as she adapted menus to support Elara's strengthening energy conduits. The first signs of change appeared in the mornings. The dining hall, with its crystalline table overlooking the endless storm clouds, had always been a place of formal ritual. But now, As auroras danced in greens and blues across the dome ceiling, it echoed with laughter. Elara, her lavender skin glowing with a natural luminescence rather than the artificial sheen of infusions, would bound in, still relying on her energy chair for longer distances, but taking wobbly steps for short ones. "Zara, look what I can do," she chimed, demonstrating a new trick, like levitating a small crystal orb with her stabilizing conduits. Zara would grin, setting down her tea, always perfectly brewed by Lyra, and applaud. "That's amazing, Sprout. Your flux control is getting stronger every day." Nyra, entering last in her flowing executive robes, would pause in the doorway, a subtle smile curving her lips as she watched the scene. It was a far cry from the solitary meals of before, where silence had reigned and Elara's condition had cast a perpetual shadow. One such morning, as mist cascaded like ethereal waterfalls outside the dome, Nyra addressed the group. "Elara's latest scans show a 40% improvement in conduit efficiency. Dr. Silas's replacements, our new Zorith team, are impressed." She glanced at Zara, her voice carrying a note of pride. "Thanks to your harness prototype." Zara shrugged modestly, though her cheeks warmed under the praise. "Just tweaking the algorithms. Human tech from the wars. Adaptive shielding for energy bursts. Figured it could work here." Elara clapped her small hands. "Can I try the new version today? Please." Nyra hesitated, her maternal instincts warring with her CEO pragmatism. "Only if Zara supervises." Zara nodded. "Of course. We'll start slow in the therapy bay." As breakfast wrapped, Grant clear plates with unusual efficiency. Security briefing at 0900, Ms. Kael. Rumors of cartel movements. Silas's old contacts. Nyra's expression hardened. "Handle it. I won't let shadows from the past dim our progress." The therapy bay, a spacious chamber lined with humming energy modulators and holographic displays, became their daily sanctuary. Zara had personalized it, adding soft lighting that mimicked Earth's sunsets, per Elara's request after hearing Zara's stories. "Tell me about the beaches again," Elara would beg as Zara fitted the harness, a sleek band of adaptive alloy that synced seamlessly with the girl's bioenergy fields. "Golden sands, waves crashing, seagulls crying overhead," Zara narrated, her hands steady as she calibrated. "One day, when you're fully recovered, we'll visit a simulation, or better, a real one if we can swing a trip to Terra colonies." Nyra often observed from the observation deck, her violet fingers tapping thoughtfully on the railing. Watching Zara's patient guidance, correcting Elara's posture, encouraging each tentative step, stirred something deep within her. It wasn't just gratitude. It was a growing admiration, laced with an attraction she could no longer deny. That evening, as Elara rested, Nyra invited Zara to her private study, a cozy enclave filled with ancient Valari crystal tomes and hollow projections of quantum models. "We need to discuss the board's upcoming audit," Nyra began, pouring a luminescent nectar into crystalline glasses. Zara accepted one, savoring the sweet tart flavor. "They're scrutinizing my involvement." Nyra's slitted eyes met hers. "Your human background raises eyebrows. And the rumors about us, post-Galactic, didn't help." Zara set her glass down. "Then let's address it head-on. I'm here for Elara, but also for you." Denying that won't make it go away. Nyra paced, her robe swirling like violet mist. "In my position, vulnerability is a weakness. Vex exploited my grief over Elara's father. I can't afford another lapse." Zara rose, gently halting her. "This isn't a lapse, it's strength. We're better together." Their hands intertwined, cool violet against warm human skin, sending that familiar spark. Nyra leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that deepened, exploring the boundaries they tiptoed around. When they parted, Nyra whispered, "Perhaps you're right. But discretion, for now." The board audit arrived like a storm front, hollow projections of stern Valari elders filling the conference chamber. Chairwoman RYL, her faded violet skin etched with cycles of wisdom, led the inquiry. "Ms. Kael, Quantum Energies thrives, stock up 25% since the scandal. But concerns persist about human influence on proprietary tech." Nyra stood tall. "Ms. Voss's contributions are documented. Patented conduit boosters, reducing therapy side effects by 60%. She's an asset." RYL's silver eyes shifted to Zara. "Impressive for a former fleet engineer. But personal ties." Zara spoke evenly. "My priority is Elara's health and the company's innovation. Personal matters remain private." A younger board member, a sharp-featured Valari named Lorne, interjected. "Privacy? The gala footage suggests otherwise." Could this compromise decisions? Nyra's voice iced. My decisions have only strengthened us. If you doubt, review the metrics. The audit concluded favorably, but with caveats. Regular reports on Zara's projects. Post-meeting, Nyra exhaled in relief. You handled that well. Zara grinned. Fleet interrogations were tougher. Now about us. Nyra pulled her close. Dinner tonight. Just us. No business. Their private dinner under the Aurora Dome marked a turning point. Elyra prepared a fusion feast. Earth-style grilled proteins with Valari energy-infused salads. As they dined, stories flowed. Nyra recounting her rise from a modest Valari clan to corporate titan, driven by her late husband's quantum discoveries. He was brilliant but distant. Elara's illness broke him. Zara shared war tales, repairing starships under fire, losing comrades, finding solace in ingenuity. It taught me life's too short for regrets. Wine loosened tongues, and soon they were laughing over cultural quirks. Valari's ritual dances versus human karaoke. Show me, Nyra challenged. Zara, emboldened, sang a silly earth tune, pulling Nyra to dance. Their movements synced, bodies close, leading to a passionate night in Nyra's quarters. Waking tangled in silken sheets, Zara traced Nyra's violet curves. No regrets. Nyra smiled. None. But peace was fleeting. Whispers of Silas's return surfaced. Grant's intel pinpointed him on a fringe moon, allying with Vortac remnants eyeing Kael's tech. He's building a counter-device, Grant rumbled in a security briefing, to disrupt conduit therapies, target Elara. Nyra's fists clenched. Mobilize teams. Zara volunteered. I can hack their systems, fleet tricks. Nyra protested, but Zara insisted. I won't lose you too. The mission launched. Zara, with a Draxon squad, infiltrated the moon base. Stealth suits cloaked them in shadows as they navigated jagged terrains. Inside, alarms blared, ambush. Laser fire erupted. Zara dodged, deploying drones from her kit to jam signals. Silas, she shouted, cornering him in the lab. The Zorith sneered, multifaceted eyes gleaming. Human fool, you'll ruin everything. A fierce fight ensued. Silas's tech versus Zara's wits. She overloaded his device, causing a chain reaction that disabled his forces. Captured, Silas spat confessions. Jealousy over Nyra's husband, bribes from cartels. Back at the compound, Nyra embraced Zara fiercely. You risked everything. For family, Zara replied. Elara, witnessing, hugged them both. My heroes. With threats quelled, life flourished. Zara's innovations went company-wide, healing other Valari children. Elara, fully mobile, pursued engineering apprenticeships. Nyra and Zara's bond deepened through travels, visiting Terra beaches, Valari crystal caves. Intimate moments wove into daily life. Shared baths in thermal pools, whispered promises under stars. Cycles later, on the spire overlooking eternal storms, Zara proposed with a custom ring, fused human gold and Valari crystal. Bond with me? Nyra accepted tearfully. Their ceremony blended traditions, Valari conduit vows, human rings, attended by staff and board. Elara stood as witness, beaming. Years on, the compound became an innovation haven. Elara led research. Nyra and Zara Kosoas, their love a beacon. Reflecting, Nyra said, when I saw you with Elara, why did next, trusting a human, saved us all. Zara kissed her. Humanity and Valari, united. In the cycles following the moon base incursion, the Kael compound solidified its transformation from a sterile bastion into a vibrant hub of life and innovation, perched like a jewel in the misty heights of Elysium Prime's upper atmosphere. The sprawling estate, with its spires entwined with pulsing energy conduits and floating gardens of crystalline blooms, no longer felt like a monument to corporate ambition, but a home where laughter echoed as often as the hum of quantum machinery. Nyra Kael, the violet-skinned titan of Kael Quantum Energies, found her once rigid world softened by the presence of Zara Voss, the human engineer whose ingenuity and warmth had rewired not just Elara's therapies, but the very heart of their existence. Elara, now a radiant 9-cycle-old Valari with lavender skin that glowed with newfound vitality, was no longer tethered to her energy chair for most of the day, her quantum flux disorder receding under Zara's meticulously crafted treatment protocols. Zara, ever the tinkerer, had turned the compound's therapy bay into a laboratory of hope. Her days were a blur of calibrating energy harnesses, analyzing bioenergy scans, and mentoring Elara, who soaked up engineering concepts like a sponge. The staff, once a cold assembly of Draxan and Zorth skeptics, had warmed to Zara's relentless competence. Grant, the hulking Draxan chief of staff, now greeted her with grudging respect, his ridges no longer bristling at her human scent. Lyra, the Avari nutritionist with her kaleidoscope of feathers, had become a confidant, slipping Zara cups of perfectly brewed Earl Grey during late-night work sessions and whispering gossip about the staff's shifting loyalties. The compound's mornings had settled into a comforting rhythm. In the dining hall, where the crystalline table reflected the auroras swirling across the dome, Nyra, Zara, and Elara shared meals that blended Valari delicacies with human comforts. Lyra's latest triumph being a fusion of roasted earth vegetables and energy-infused Valari nectar fruits. Elara, her ebony hair now neatly braided, would chatter about her studies at Stellar Nexus Academy, where her classmates no longer whispered cruelly about her condition, but marveled at her ability to manipulate hollow puzzles with steady hands. "I beat Kaeler's score in quantum coding today," she announced one morning, her silver eyes sparkling. "He said I'm disturbingly clever." His words. Zara chuckled, ruffling Elara's hair. "That's my sprout. Disturbed any anti-grav platforms yet?" Elara giggled, shaking her head. Nyra, seated at the head in a flowing tunic that shimmered like liquid amethyst, watched with a warmth that softened her regal features. "Her instructors report she's excelling," Nyra said, her voice carrying a pride that lingered on Zara. "Your conduit booster has given her more than mobility. It's given her confidence." "Just doing what I do best," Zara replied, sipping her tea. "Tinkering until things work." But her eyes met Nyra's, and the unspoken connection between them, a spark that had ignited at the gala and grown through stolen kisses and late-night confessions, charged the air. Since their intimate night after the board audit, their bond had deepened, though they kept it discreet to avoid fueling corporate gossip. Nyra's position as CEO demanded propriety, but in private, her cool violet hands sought Zara's warmth with increasing ease. That morning, as mist cascaded outside like ethereal waterfalls, Grant entered with a hollow pad, his expression unusually grim. "Ms. Kael, priority alert from the security grid. Anomalous energy signatures detected in the lower conduits. Possible sabotage." Nyra's slitted eyes narrowed. "Again?" After Silas, Zara set her cup down, instincts from her fleet days kicking in. "Could be residual tech from his cartel allies. I'll check the systems." Nyra's hand grazed hers under the table. "Be cautious. We've drawn enough enemies." The therapy bay became Zara's war room. She pulled up schematics on the hollow displays, tracing the signatures to a secondary power hub deep in the compound's understructure. "It's subtle," she muttered, fingers dancing over controls. "Almost like someone's masking a signal, trying to overload the core without tripping alarms." Elara, perched on a stool, watched wide-eyed. "Like in your war stories? Saboteurs sneaking in." Zara nodded, keeping her tone light for the girl's sake. "Exactly, Sprout. But we're smarter than they are." Nyra joined them, her presence commanding despite the worry etching her features. "The board's been informed. They're demanding a full sweep. If this is cartel retaliation," she trailed off, glancing at Elara. Zara understood. Nyra feared for her daughter, the heir whose recovery threatened rival factions. "I'll take a team to the hub," Zara said. "Grant's Draxans can cover me." Nyra's hand tightened on her arm. "Not alone. Never alone," Zara promised, her grin masking the adrenaline surging through her. The descent to the lower conduits was a journey into the compound's industrial heart, where pipes pulsed with quantum energy and mist clung to the walls like ghostly tendrils. Zara, clad in a reinforced jumpsuit, led a squad of 4 Draxans, their scales glinting under portable lights. Grant at her side muttered, "If this is Vortac tech, it's advanced. They don't play subtle." Zara nodded, her scanner humming. "Then we don't play nice." At the hub, they found it, a sleek, alien device embedded in the conduit relays, its surface etched with unfamiliar runes. "Not Vortac," Zara whispered, recognizing the design. "Cryon, a rogue faction from the outer rims. They've been sniffing around quantum tech markets." Before she could disable it, the device pulsed, sending a shockwave that knocked a Draxan back. Alarms blared. The hub trembled. "It's accelerating," Zara shouted, diving for the controls. Her fleet-honed reflexes took over. She rerouted power through auxiliary lines, stabilizing the core just as the device detonated harmlessly, its sabotage thwarted. Back topside, Nyra met her at the lift, her composure cracking as she pulled Zara into a fierce embrace. "You could have been killed." Zara, soot-streaked but grinning, held her close. "Takes more than a cryon toy to stop me." Elara, waiting anxiously, threw her arms around Zara's waist. "You're like a superhero." Zara laughed, but her eyes locked with Nyra's, conveying the gravity of the threat. "We need to trace this back. Cryons don't act alone." The investigation unfolded in Nyra's study, where hollow screens displayed intercepted transmissions. Grant's team confirmed the Cryons were hired mercenaries, funded by an unknown source within Elysium Prime's elite circles. "Someone's playing a long game," Zara said, analyzing the device's fragments. This tech mimics Silas's designs, but with a twist, targeting Elara's therapy systems specifically. Nyra's face darkened. "They want her weak again. To destabilize my leadership." Zara placed a hand on hers. "We'll find them, but we need to go public with us. Show strength, not secrecy. It'll shut down the rumors and make it harder for enemies to exploit." Nyra hesitated, then nodded. "Agreed. At the next gala, we announce our partnership, personal and professional." Elara, eavesdropping from the doorway, clapped. "Finally, I told you Mother likes you." The Stellar Nexus Academy's Celestial Gala, a biannual event, was chosen for the announcement. The floating venue glowed with bioluminescent vines, and elites from across the quadrant mingled under a dome projecting a simulated nebula. Zara, in a tailored gown that hugged her human frame, escorted Elara, whose new conduit bracelet allowed her to walk short distances unaided. Nyra descended the grand staircase in a dress that shimmered like a violet galaxy, drawing gasps, and Zara's breath caught entirely. "You're staring," Nyra teased, joining them. Zara grinned. "Can you blame me?" Elara giggled. "Told you she'd notice." The gala buzzed with anticipation, but tension simmered. Board members like Lorne watched with hawkish eyes, and whispers of Cryon activity lingered. Nyra took the stage, her voice clear as crystal. "Kael Quantum Energies thrives because of unity. My daughter's recovery, led by Zara Voss, proves it. Tonight, I announce our partnership in innovation and in life." The crowd murmured, some applauding, others exchanging skeptical glances. Zara joined her, taking her hand, a bold, human gesture that silenced doubters. Elara beamed from the sidelines, her classmates cheering. But the moment was cut short by a low rumble. Energy spikes in the venue's core. Zara's scanner bust. "Another Cryon device," she hissed, pulling Nyra aside. "They're targeting the gala." Chaos erupted as guests panicked. Zara, Nyra, and Grant rushed to the control hub, Elara secured with Lyra. The device, larger than the last, was rigged to overload the venue's anti-grav, threatening a catastrophic fall. Zara worked frantically, her hands a blur over controls. "It's got a quantum lock. Needs a dual override." Nyra synced her biosignature to Zara's, their energies merging in a literal and symbolic union. The device deactivated with seconds to spare, the platform stabilizing. Security apprehended a Cryon operative among the staff, a mole planted by Lorne, the board member. Interrogation revealed his motive: jealousy over Nyra's success and fear of human influence diluting Valari dominance. "He wanted control," Grant reported. Nyra, furious, ensured Lawrence's expulsion and prosecution. The board, led by RYL, reaffirmed Nyra's leadership, citing Zara's heroics as proof of their strength. Life resumed, richer now. Zara's therapy designs went galactic, aiding Valari children across systems. Elara, nearly fully recovered, apprenticed under Zara, dreaming of starship design. Nyra and Zara, now openly bonded, balanced leadership and love, shared meals, stargazing, and plans for a Terra visit. One night, atop the spire under a blazing aurora, Zara proposed with a fused human Valari ring. Forever. Nyra's eyes shimmered. Eternally. Their ceremony, a blend of traditions, cemented their family. Years later, the compound was a beacon of progress. Elara led innovations. Nyra and Zara co-led, their love a galactic inspiration. Reflecting, Nyra said, "When I saw you with Elara, what I did next, trusting you, built our future." Zara kissed her. Humanity and Valari, unstoppable. In the cycles that followed the Cryon sabotage attempt, the Kael compound, floating like a radiant citadel in Elysium Prime's misty skies, became a beacon of resilience and unity. The once sterile estate, with its spires entwined with pulsing quantum conduits and gardens of crystalline blooms, now thrummed with life, laughter, innovation, and the warmth of a family forged across species. Nyra Kael, her violet skin shimmering under the aurora's glow, had evolved from a guarded CO into a woman whose heart beat in sync with her human partner, Zara Voss. Zara, the former fleet engineer whose ingenuity had saved Elara's life and Nyra's legacy, now balanced her roles as caretaker, innovator, and lover with a grace that belied her rough-and-tumble war days. Elara, the lavender-skinned Valari heir, was no longer defined by her quantum flux disorder. At 10 cycles old, she walked confidently most days, her silver eyes bright with dreams of engineering stardom. The compound's daily rhythm was a symphony of purpose. Mornings began in the dining hall, where the crystalline table reflected swirling greens and blues from the dome above. Lyra, the feathery Alvari nutritionist, served fusion feasts, Earth-style pancakes drizzled with Valari nectar syrup, a favorite of Elara's. Grant, the Draxan chief of staff, had shed his gruff exterior, his ridges softening as he shared security updates with a newfound respect for Zara. No anomalies today, he'd rumble, passing Zara a holopad. Your tweaks to the grid are holding. Zara would nod, her emerald jumpsuit now adorned with Kael insignia, a symbol of her integration into the family and company. Elara's progress was nothing short of miraculous. Zara's conduit booster, a sleek bracelet syncing with her bioenergy fields, had reduced therapy side effects by 80%, allowing her to attend Stellar Nexus Academy full-time. Her classmates, once cruel or indifferent, now crowded around her, eager to learn from the girl who could manipulate quantum algorithms with a flick of her wrist. I built a mini anti-grav drone, Elara boasted one morning, showing Zara a hollow vid of her creation hovering in class. Kaler says I'm going to outshine him. You're already a star, Sprout, Zara replied, ruffling her ebony hair. Nyra, seated in a flowing robe that caught the aurora's light, smiled, a rare, unguarded expression that made Zara's heart skip. Their bond, cemented at the Celestial Gala's public announcement, had deepened through countless shared moments. Late-night research in the study, hands brushing over data pads, stolen kisses in the garden orbs, and quiet evenings under the dome, where Nyra shared Valari legends and Zara spun tales of Earth's oceans. But shadows lingered. The Cryon sabotage had exposed a deeper conspiracy, whispers of a coalition within Elysium Prime's elite, resentful of Nyra's dominance and Zara's human influence. Grant's intel suggested a new player, a shadowy Valari named Cypher, a former colleague of Elara's late father, who had vanished after his death but resurfaced on fringe worlds, rallying disgruntled factions. He's after the quantum core tech, Grant warned during a briefing in Nyra's study, his scales glinting under holoscreens. Your husband's designs, weaponized. Nyra's amethyst, eyes darkened. Torn would never have allowed this. Cypher was his rival, not his ally. Zara, analyzing intercepted transmissions, frowned. He's building something, a disruptor matrix. It could destabilize entire energy networks, starting with ours. Elara, eavesdropping from the doorway, piped up, like a superweapon? That's bad, right? Nyra knelt beside her. Nothing we can't handle, my star. But stay close. Zara caught Nyra's gaze, a silent vow passing between them. Protect Elara, no matter the cost. The threat crystallized at the Nexus Trade Summit, a galactic event hosted on a massive orbital platform above Elysium Prime. The Kael family attended as a united front. Nyra in a gown that shimmered like a violet nebula, Zara in a tailored suit blending human and Valari aesthetics, and Elara, radiant in a dress that glowed with her own conduit energy. The summit buzzed with diplomats, tycoons, and scientists, all eyeing Kael Quantum Energy's latest breakthrough, a scalable therapy system based on Zara's designs that could heal quantum flux disorders across species. Nyra's keynote address drew rapt attention. Our technology, she declared, is not just innovation, it's hope. My daughter, Elara, stands as proof. The crowd applauded as Elara took a few confident steps to the podium, her bracelet humming softly. Zara, standing guard at the sidelines, scanned the room, her fleet instincts on edge. Something fell off, the air too charged, the crowd too tense. Her scanner buzzed, detecting a faint quantum anomaly. Nyra, she whispered via comm, we've got a problem. Before Nyra could respond, the platform shook violently, lights flickering. Screams erupted as anti-grav fields faltered, sending guests stumbling. Zara grabbed Elara, pulling her to safety behind a podium as Nyra rallied security. It's Cypher, Zara hissed, her scanner pinpointing a disruptor matrix in the platform's core. He's overloading the system, could crash us into the planet. Grant's Draxans formed a perimeter, but the chaos intensified. Holoscreens flickered with Cypher's face, his violet skin paler than Nyra's, his eyes burning with zeal. Kael's empire ends tonight, he broadcasted. Her human taint has weakened us. I claim Torin's legacy. Nyra's voice cut through, icy and commanding. You betray Torrens' vision. Cypher. Surrender now. Zara, already moving, led a strike team to the core. The corridors were a maze of sparking conduits and panicked evacuees. Stay with Elara, she told Grant, who nodded, his loyalty now unshakable. Zara reached the core, finding Cypher and a cadre of Cryon mercenaries rigging the Matrix, a monstrous device pulsing with stolen quantum tech. You're out of your league, human, Cypher sneered, raising a disruptor. Zara dodged, deploying a fleet-trick EMP drone that stunned the Cryons. I faced worse odds, she retorted, diving for the Matrix controls. Cypher lunged, but Zara's combat training, honed in war-torn hangars, kicked in. She disarmed him with a swift grapple, binding him with conduit cables. Working frantically, she hacked the Matrix, rerouting its energy to stabilize the platform. The shaking ceased. Lights steadied. Security swarmed in, detaining Cypher and his crew. Nyra and Elara rushed to Zara, the girl throwing herself into her arms. You did it again. Nyra's embrace was fierce, her voice breaking. I thought I'd lost you. Zara kissed her forehead. Not a chance. The summit resumed, Cypher's broadcast replaced by Nyra's calm reassurance. The board, led by Chairwoman RYL, praised Zara's heroics, cementing her as a cornerstone of Kael's future. In the aftermath, investigations uncovered Cypher's network, a coalition of envious Valari elites and cartel backers, all dismantled by Grant's relentless pursuit. Nyra, Zara, and Elara returned to the compound, their bond unshakable. Zara's therapy system went galactic, healing thousands and rewriting Valari medical standards. Elara, now 11, enrolled in advanced engineering courses, her drones winning Academy Awards. Nyra and Zara, openly partners, balanced leadership and love, shared meals under auroras, adventures to Terra's beaches, and quiet nights weaving Valari and human traditions. One evening, atop the highest spire, where storms swirled below and stars blazed above, Zara knelt, presenting a ring of fused human gold and Valari crystal. Nyra Kael, will you bond with me, forever, across galaxies? Nyra's eyes shimmered, her voice soft. In Valari terms, a conduit eternal. Yes. Elara, watching from the shadows, cheered, her laughter echoing. Their ceremony, a fusion of cultures, Valari vows of energy and human exchanges of rings, drew allies from across systems. Lyra wept feathers. Grant stood stoic but proud. Elara, their officiant, declared, You're my family, now and always. The compound, now a hub of innovation and healing, thrived under their leadership. Elara grew into a prodigy, her designs powering new worlds. Nyra and Zara, co-solace, became galactic icons of unity. Years later, as they stood on the spire, Elara, now a young woman leading her own research wing, Nyra reflected. When I saw you with Elara, cleaning her face with such care, what I did next, trusting a human, changed everything. Zara kissed her, their ring glinting. Humanity and Valari, together were unstoppable. Under the auroras, their love lit the stars, a legacy of hope for all galaxies.
Captain Elias Thorne had always been drawn to the whispers of forgotten legends, but he never imagined one would lead him to the forsaken outpost of Epsilon Drift. The trading hub, orbiting a dying star in the far reaches of the Perseus Arm, was a haven for smugglers and scavengers, where rare artifacts from extinct civilizations were bartered like common ore. As his weathered freighter, the Void Seeker, docked in the shadowy bay, Elias felt a pull in his chest, a mix of curiosity and foreboding. His mission was simple: secure a rumored relic said to hold the key to unlimited energy, but the Drift had other secrets. Welcome to Epsilon Drift, Captain, greeted a wiry, tentacled trader named Zilk, his multiple eyes blinking in greedy anticipation. Heard you're here for something special. The consortium's got a real prize, last of its kind. Elias' hazel eyes narrowed under his tousled brown hair, his leather jacket creaking as he shifted. I'm not here for games, Zilk. Show me the relic. Zilk's tentacles wriggled. Oh, it's more than a relic. Follow me through the lower levels. They descended into the outpost's bowels, where the air grew thick with the hum of energy fields and the scent of ozone. Elias' boots echoed on the grated floors, his hand never far from the pulse pistol at his hip. Zilk led him to a massive chamber, reinforced with adamantium beams and flickering containment fields. In the center, bound by glowing chains that crackled with restraining force, was a being that stole his breath. She was a colossus, nearly 30 feet tall, her form humanoid but magnified to godlike proportions. Her skin was a vibrant green, like emerald forests under sunlight, with subtle scales that shimmered like leaves in the wind. Her hair, a cascade of deep forest vines, fell around her massive shoulders, partially veiling her nudity. Her eyes were golden orbs, pupilless but radiating an intelligence that pierced the soul. She sat chained, her posture regal despite the humiliation, a creature of myth, the last of the Verdants, ancient guardians of lost worlds. Magnificent, isn't she? Zilk chattered. Captured from a derelict temple ship, the Verdants were thought extinct warriors of nature, they called themselves. Now she's our star attraction, bids are pouring in from collectors across the arm. Ilya's fists clenched, his rugged features hardening. This wasn't a prize, it was enslavement. She's sentient, he said, his voice low and dangerous, not some animal for your auctions. Zilk laughed, his eyes bulging. Sentient, she's a monster, Captain, look at the size of her, but docile now thanks to the chains, want a closer look? Ilias nodded, stepping forward as Zilk deactivated a section of the field. The Verdant's golden eyes tracked him, not with rage but curiosity. Up close, her green skin was warm to the eye, pulsing faintly with inner light. I'm Captain Ilias Thorn, he said softly, maintaining eye contact. And I don't believe you're a monster. The Verdant's head tilted, her voice a deep, resonant timbre like wind through ancient trees. You are different from the others who come to gawk. They see only the giant, the threat. You see me, Zilk snorted. Don't get too close, Captain. She's dangerous. Ilias ignored him, his hand inching toward her chained ankle. May I? He asked her directly. Her golden eyes widened, but she nodded. His palm touched her green skin, smooth yet textured like bark, warm and alive. A tremor ran through her and Ilias felt a spark, as if connecting to something primordial. Zilk's voice cut in. Enough gawking. If you're not buying, let's discuss business elsewhere. Ilias withdrew his hand, but his nod to the Verdant was firm. As Zilk led him away, Ilias whispered to himself, not a monster, a prisoner, and that's about to change. Over the next days, Ilias played the part of a cautious buyer, inspecting the outpost's operations while his freighter's scanners mapped every detail, guard rotations, power grids, and the energy chain's vulnerabilities. He visited the chamber often under the guise of evaluating the asset. The guards grew lax, assuming his interest was financial. Her name was Elylara, the last verdant guardian. My people were stewards of worlds, she told him during one visit, her voice echoing softly. We shaped ecosystems, nurtured life, but wars with invaders whittled us down. I was captured, displayed as a trophy. You're not a trophy, Ilias said, his hand on her ankle again, the touch becoming a ritual. You're a survivor, and I'll get you out. Elyara's golden eyes softened. Why risk everything for me, small one? Because I see you, he replied, beyond the size, beyond the fear, and what I see is worth fighting for. That night, as the outpost power cycled for maintenance, Ilias struck. Alarms blared as he sabotaged the grid, the chains flickering. Elylara rose, her green skin gleaming, shattering her bonds with a roar that shook the foundations. Ilias fought through guards to reach her, and she scooped him up gently, cradling him against her chest as she smashed through walls to freedom. They fled into the Drift's wilds, the consortium's ships in pursuit. But in that moment, as Elyara's massive strides carried them away, Ilias knew he'd found something greater than any relic, a connection that defied the stars. The crimson sands of Epsilon Drift's wasteland stretched endlessly beneath the flickering light of its dying star, the red dwarf casting an eerie glow across jagged rock spires and abandoned mining rigs. Captain Ilias Thorn clung to Elyara's massive shoulder, his leather jacket flapping against the wind as the verdant giantess sprinted across the dunes. Her green skin shimmered like emerald leaves under sunlight, her forest-fine hair trailing like a comet's tail. Each stride covered dozens of meters, her bare feet kicking up clouds of red dust that sparkled with psychoactive flecks, scrambling the sensors of the consortium ships roaring overhead. Ilias' pulse pistol hung at his hip, but his real weapon was the Void Seeker's remote beacon in his pocket, signaling their escape ship hidden in a nearby canyon. Hold tight, small one, Elyara's voice rumbled, deep and melodic like a breeze through ancient groves. Her golden, pupil-less eyes flicked upward, tracking the sleek consortium gunships weaving through the haze. They're persistent. Ilias adjusted his grip, his hazel eyes scanning the horizon. His freighter's sensors, linked to the neural implant behind his ear, fed him real-time data, 3 ships armed with quantum disruptors closing fast. They're not here for a chat, he said, his voice steady despite the chaos. My ship's 2 clicks east, can you make it? Elyara's lips curved into a fierce smile, her scales glinting. You doubt a verdant's strength? I carried starseeds across continents. One human is no burden. He grinned, his brown hair whipping across his face. Doubting, just checking, you're carrying precious cargo, me. Her laugh like rustling leaves echoed over the dunes. Bold words for one so small. Keep talking, Ilias Thorn, it distracts me from the gunfire. A quantum bolt seared past, scorching the sand into glass. Elyara swerved, her massive form agile despite her size, shielding Ilias with her body. His implant pinged, the Void Seeker was prepped, its engines hot. Almost there, he said, tapping the beacon. Just need to lose these bastards. The canyon loomed ahead, a jagged scar in the desert where the Void Seeker waited, its battered hull camouflaged against the rock. Elyara leaped a crevasse, landing with a tremor that shook loose boulders. Ilias clung tighter, marveling at her power. Her green skin was warm against his hands, its subtle scales textured like polished bark. The contact sent a thrill through him, not just adrenaline, but something deeper, a spark ignited in that first touch in the consortium's chamber. Ilias, Elyara said, her voice softer now, though her pace didn't falter. Why risk this? Your ship, your freedom, your life. He met her golden gaze, his jaw set. Because you're not a trophy to be chained, you're Elyara, last of the Verdants, and you deserve to be free. Plus, he added with a roguish grin, I've got a thing for women who can crush starships. Her laughter rang out again, but it was cut short by a deafening roar. A consortium gunship dropped low, its disruptors charging. Elias cursed, pulling his pistol and firing a pulse that grazed its hull, forcing it to veer. "Get to the canyon," he shouted. Thalira dove behind a rock spire, her massive hand cradling Elias protectively. The gunship fired again, blasting the spire to rubble. Dust choked the air, but Thalira's eyes glowed through the haze, her resolve unshaken. "Stay close, small one," she said, rising. "We end this now." She charged toward the canyon, weaving through a storm of disruptor fire. Elias' implant screamed warnings. Two more ships were circling, trying to box them in. He activated the Void Seeker's auto defenses, and the freighter's turrets sprang to life, spraying plasma bolts that forced the gunships to scatter. Thalira reached the canyon's edge, sliding down a slope to the ship's hidden berth. The Void Seeker's ramp was open, its cargo bay just large enough for her towering frame. "Inside," Elias yelled, leaping from her shoulder to the ramp. He sprinted to the cockpit, Thalira ducking to follow, her vine-like hair brushing the ceiling. The bay doors groaned as they sealed, and Elias slammed the controls, the ship lurching skyward. Consortium ships pursued, their weapons lighting up the sensors, but the Void Seeker was built for smuggling runs, fast and tough. Elias wove through the asteroid field orbiting Epsilon Drift, the gunships struggling to keep pace. Thalira crouched in the cargo bay, her green skin glowing faintly in the dim light. "Your ship is sturdy," she said, her voice steady despite the turbulence, "like its captain. Flattery won't help if we get hit," Elias called back, grinning as he dodged a quantum bolt, "but keep it coming." The Void Seeker broke free of the asteroid field, its engines roaring as it jumped to hyperspace. The stars blurred and silence settled over the ship. Elias slumped in the pilot's chair, exhaling. "We're clear, for now." Thalira's massive form filled the cockpit doorway, her golden eyes soft. "You risked everything, Elias. No one has ever done that for me." He stood, meeting her gaze despite the height difference. "You're worth it, Thalira, and I'm not done yet. The Consortium won't stop hunting you or us." Her scales shimmered, a sign of emotion Elias was beginning to recognize. "Us," she repeated, the word heavy with meaning. "You tie your fate to mine, small one. Why?" He stepped closer, placing his hand on her ankle, the touch now familiar. "Because when I saw you in that chamber, I didn't see a monster. I saw a warrior, a guardian, a woman, and I'm not letting the galaxy take that from you again." Thalira knelt, bringing her face closer, her vine-like hair brushing his shoulder. "My people believed in bonds of spirit, not size or form. You see my spirit, Elias Thorne, and I see yours." Their moment was interrupted by a chime from the console. A coded transmission from Zilk, the Consortium trader, flickered on-screen. Elias' jaw tightened as he opened it. Zilk's tentacles writhed, his multiple eyes gleaming with malice. "Captain Thorne, you've made a grave mistake. The Verdant is Consortium property. Return her or we'll hunt you to the edge of the galaxy." Elias leaned into the comm, his voice cold. "She's not property, Zilk. She's Thalira, and she's free. Come after us and you'll regret it." He cut the transmission, turning to Thalira. Her golden eyes held a mix of gratitude and resolve. "They'll find us," she said. "The Consortium has spies everywhere." "Then we stay one step ahead," Elias replied, plotting a course for the Outer Veil, a lawless region where smugglers and outcasts thrived. "I know a planet, Silvara. It's got jungles dense enough to hide even you. We can lay low, plan our next move." Thalira's hand gently cupped his back, her touch sending warmth through his jacket. "You speak of hiding, yet you dream of fighting. I know that look, small one." He grinned, unapologetic, guilty. "First, we need to make sure you're safe," and he hesitated, his hazel eyes searching hers. "We need to talk about what happens next. You're the last Verdant. What do you want?" She was silent for a moment, her scales pulsing softly. "I want a life unclaimed by chains, a purpose beyond survival," and her voice softened, almost shy. "I want to know what it means to be seen as you see me." Elias' heart raced, but he kept his tone light. "Well, Thalira, you've got me for that last part. Let's figure out the rest together." The Void Seeker glided through hyperspace, its engines humming a steady rhythm. Elias modified the cargo bay, rigging a makeshift living space for Thalira with reinforced panels and salvaged supplies. She sat cross-legged, her green skin catching the starlight filtering through the viewport, her vine-like hair pooling around her. Elias joined her, sitting on a crate, their size difference stark but no longer a barrier. "Tell me about the Verdants," he said, leaning forward. "Your people, what were they like?" Thalira's golden eyes grew distant, her voice soft. "We were born of the cosmos, tasked with nurturing worlds. Our bodies were shaped to carry starseeds, crystals that spark life on barren planets. We built gardens across stars, sang to forests that spanned continents, but invaders came, species who saw our strength as a threat, our size as monstrous. They hunted us, destroyed our temples. I was a child when my world fell. I fled only to be captured years later." Elias' jaw tightened, his hand resting on her ankle. "They didn't see you, they saw power they couldn't control." "And you?" she asked, her gaze piercing. "What do you see?" He met her eyes, unflinching. "I see a woman who survived hell and still shines brighter than any star. I see someone I'd fight for no matter the odds." Thalira's scales flared, a verdant sign of deep emotion. She reached down, her massive finger brushing his cheek, gentle despite her strength. "No one has touched me with such care since my kin were lost. Your heart, Elias, it is vast despite your size." He laughed, the sound easing the tension. "Good thing too, gotta keep up with you." Their banter was interrupted by another alert. The Void Seeker's sensors detected a faint signal, a Consortium tracker embedded in the ship's hull. Elias cursed, rushing to the cockpit. "They tagged us during the escape. We've got hours, maybe less, before they catch up." Thalira followed, her voice calm but firm. "Then we faced them. My people were warriors as well as guardians. I will not be chained again." Ilias nodded, his mind racing. We'll make a stand on Silvara. The jungle's our advantage. Its minerals mess with their tech, but we need help. He opened a secure channel, contacting an old smuggling contact, Kalia, a sharp-tongued pilot who owed him a favor. Kalia, it's Thorn, need backup on Silvara. Bring your fastest ship and some firepower. Kalia's voice crackled through, laced with amusement. What mess you now, Ilias? Got a bounty on your head already? Something like that, he said, glancing at Thalira. And I'm bringing a friend, she's big, a pause, then a laugh. You never do things small, do you? I'm in ETA 3 hours. The Void Seeker dropped out of hyperspace above Silvara, a lush world of towering violet trees and glowing flora. Ilias landed in a clearing, the jungle dense enough to conceal Thalira. Massive form, she stepped out, her green skin blending with the foliage, her golden eyes scanning the canopy. This place, it feels like home, she whispered, her hand brushing a tree that seemed to hum in response. Ilias joined her, his boots sinking into the moss. Good, because we're about to have company. The consortium ships arrived sooner than expected, their sleek forms cutting through Silvara's misty skies. Ilias and Thalira took cover, her massive body shielding him as disruptor fire rained down. Kalia's ship, the Starfang, roared in, its cannons blasting one consortium vessel to debris. You owe me, Big Thorn, Kalia's voice crackled over the comm. Add it to my tab, Ilias shouted, firing his pistol at a landing shuttle. Thalira moved like a force of nature, uprooting a tree and hurling it at another ship, forcing it to crash. Her strength was awe-inspiring, but her precision avoiding harm to the jungle spoke of her guardian heritage. The battle was fierce but brief. Kalia's firepower and Thalira's raw power overwhelmed the consortium forces, who retreated, their numbers decimated. As the smoke cleared, Ilias stood beside Thalira, his hand on her leg, her scales warm under his touch. We did it, he said, catching his breath. We, she echoed, her golden eyes soft. You fight for me, Ilias, as I fight for you. Kalia landed, hopping out of the Starfang with a smirk. A wiry woman with cropped red hair and cybernetic implants, she eyed Thalira with a mix of awe and wariness. Damn, Ilias, when you said big, you weren't kidding. Thalira knelt, her voice gentle. I am Thalira, last of the Verdants. Thank you for your aid. Kalia blinked, then grinned. Anyone who can toss a tree like that's got my respect. What's the plan now? Ilias looked up at Thalira, his heart pounding. We build a life, somewhere the consortium can't touch us, somewhere we can be us. Thalira's hand cupped his back, her touch a promise. Together, small one, always. As night fell over Silvara, the jungle glowing with bioluminescent light, Ilias and Thalira sat together, her massive form curled protectively around him. The consortium was weakened, but not defeated. Their bond, however, was unbreakable, a beacon in the darkness, guiding them toward a future neither could have imagined. The jungles of Silvara pulsed with life, their violet canopies glowing under the planet's twin moons, casting dappled light across Thalira's emerald green skin. The verdant giantess sat in a clearing, her 30-foot frame nestled among towering trees that seemed to hum in resonance with her presence, their bioluminescent leaves swaying as if greeting an old friend. Her forest-fine hair spilled over her shoulders, blending with the foliage, and her golden, pupilless eyes shone with a mix of wonder and wariness. Captain Ilias Thorn worked nearby, his leather jacket discarded in the humid air, his brown hair damp as he rigged a makeshift sensor array from Void Seeker's salvaged parts. His pulse pistol lay within reach, a reminder that the consortium's hunters were still out there, somewhere beyond the stars. These trees, Thalira said, her voice a melodic rumble like wind through branches, they sing like my people did. Silvara feels alive as if it remembers the Verdants. Ilias glanced up, wiping sweat from his brow, his hazel eyes catching hers. Maybe it does, your kind-shaped world's right. This place could be one of your gardens left behind. Her scales shimmered, a verdant sign of emotion, hope perhaps. If it is, it's been untended for centuries, yet it thrives. That gives me strength, Ilias. He grinned, securing a sensor node to a tree. Good, because we're gonna need it. The consortium's not stupid, they'll track us here eventually. These sensors will give us a heads up. Thalira's massive hand brushed a glowing fern, its light reflecting on her green skin. You work tirelessly, small one, for me. Why? He paused, his hand resting on the sensor. Because you're not just a cause, Thalira, you're, he hesitated, then met her gaze. You're home, wherever you are, that's where I want to be. Her golden eyes softened and she extended a hand, her palm large enough to cradle his entire body. Ilias stepped into it, letting her lift him to her eye level. The gesture, once cautious, was now natural, a bridge across their vast physical divide. My people believed in roots, she said softly, her vine-like hair brushing his shoulder. Connections that anchor the soul. You are my root, Ilias Thorn. He placed his hand on her cheek, her scales warm and textured like polished bark. And you're mine. But roots need ground to grow. We've got to make Silvara safe for you, for us. Their moment was shattered by a sharp beep from the sensor array. Ilias' neural implant buzzed, feeding him data, multiple ships entering Silvara's orbit, their signatures matching consortium tech. Damn it, he muttered, sliding from Thalira's hand to check the console. They're early, 5 ships heavily armed, they've got a lock on our signal. Thalira rose, her 30-foot frame towering over the clearing, her golden eyes narrowing. Let them come, I am no longer their prisoner. Ilias grabbed his pistol, his jaw set. We're not fighting alone, Kalia's still out there, she'll back us up, but we need a plan. He tapped his implant, opening a secure channel. Kalia, it's Thorn, consortium's knocking, you nearby? Kalia's voice crackled through, her tone sharp but amused. Close enough, you trouble magnet. Got 2 ships with me, smuggler buddies who hate the consortium as much as you do. ETA 10 minutes, don't die before I get there. Working on it, Elias replied, turning to Thalira. We've got a window to set a trap. The jungle's our ally. Its minerals mess with their sensors. Can you use it? Thalira's scales flared, her voice resolute. The Verdants were not just guardians, we were warriors. These trees will answer my call. She knelt, pressing her hands to the ground. The clearing vibrated, the trees' glow intensifying as roots shifted beneath the soil, responding to her touch. Elias watched, awestruck, as vines snaked upward, forming a natural barricade around the clearing. You're full of surprises, he said, a grin tugging at his lips. Her golden eyes sparkled. You've only seen the beginning, small one. The consortium ships descended, their quantum disruptors cutting through the canopy. Elias activated the Void Seeker's defenses, its turrets firing plasma bolts to keep the ships at bay. Thalira moved with terrifying grace, uprooting a massive tree and hurling it at a landing shuttle, crushing its hull. The jungle seemed to move with her, vines lashing out to entangle soldiers, their screams echoing as the flora fought back. Elias darted through the chaos, his pistol blazing, taking down guards with precise shots. His implant pinged, Kalia's ships were inbound, their cannons lighting up the sky. Thalira, keep them pinned, he shouted, dodging a disruptor blast. Kalia's almost here, a consortium commander, a scaled alien named Vren, emerged from a shuttle, his armor bristling with weapons. Surrender the Verdant, he bellowed, his voice amplified. She's worth more than your life, human, Elias fired, his pulse grazing Vren's shoulder. She's not for sale, lizard, and neither am I. Thalira roared, her voice shaking the trees, and slammed her fist into the ground, sending a shockwave that toppled Vren's guards. Vines wrapped around his shuttle, crushing it like a tin can. Vren snarled, raising a quantum lance, but Elias tackled him, his smaller size an advantage in the dense jungle. They grappled, Vren's claws raking Elias' arm, but Thalira's massive hand swept in, pinning Vren to the ground with a single finger. Yield, she said, her voice thunderous, or the jungle takes you. Vren spat, his eyes blazing, but the fight drained from him as Kalia's ships roared overhead, their cannons forcing the remaining consortium vessels to retreat. Elias stood, wincing at his torn arm, and Thalira gently lifted him, her golden eyes filled with concern. You're hurt, she said, her voice soft now. Just a scratch, he said, managing a grin. You should see the other guy. Kalia landed, her red hair glinting as she hopped from the Starfang. Nice work, Thorn. And you, she said, eyeing Thalira, are one hell of a gardener. Thalira's scales shimmered with amusement. I am Thalira, last of the Verdants. Thank you, Kalia, for your aid. Kalia smirked. Anytime, but you've got a bigger problem. My contacts say the consortium's got a new toy, a quantum tracker keyed to Verdant biology. They'll find you anywhere. Elias cursed, his hand resting on Thalira's ankle. Then we take the fight to them, find their base, shut down the tracker. Thalira's golden eyes hardened. My people faced extinction because of greed like theirs. I will not let them take our future. Kalia raised an eyebrow. You two are cozy. All right, I'm in. My buddies know a consortium outpost in the Vale, small, but it's where they're building the tracker. Hit it hard and they'll back off. The trio planned their strike under Silvara's moons, the jungle's glow casting shadows across Thalira's green skin. Elias and Thalira worked side by side, their bond deepening with every shared glance. As they prepared to board the Void Seeker, Thalira paused, her hand resting on her abdomen, a faint tremor in her scales. Elias, she said, her voice barely a whisper. I feel something stirring like a seed taking root. He froze, his implant scanning her vitals. The data was impossible, yet undeniable, a life, a blend of human and verdant, growing within her. Thalira, he said, his voice thick with awe, you're pregnant. Her golden eyes widened, tears forming. A child, our child, a new verdant born of us. Elias placed both hands on her, his heart racing. A miracle, we'll protect it together, Kalia, overhearing, whistled. Well, damn, congratulations, you crazy kids. Now let's make sure that kid has a galaxy to grow up in. As they boarded the Void Seeker, Elias and Thalira shared a look that spoke of love, defiance, and a future worth fighting for. The consortium's tracker loomed as a threat, but their bond, forged across impossible odds, was stronger. Silvara's jungles whispered behind them, a promise of sanctuary if they could win their freedom. The Void Seeker cut through the star-strewn void of the outer veil, its battered hull a testament to countless smuggling runs and narrow escapes. Inside, the cargo bay had been transformed into a sanctuary for Thalira, the last verdant, her 30-foot frame reclining on reinforced panels padded with salvaged thermal blankets. Her emerald green skin glowed softly under the ship's dim lights, her forest-vine hair cascading like a living canopy, and her golden, pupil-less eyes watched Captain Elias Thorn with a warmth that belied their dire situation. Elias, his leather jacket patched from Silvara's battle, worked at the cockpit's console, his brown hair tousled and his hazel eyes sharp as he plotted a course to the consortium's outpost on Cryon 3, a barren moon hosting their quantum tracker facility. Kalia's ship, the Starfang, flanked them, its sleek form a stark contrast to the Void Seeker's rugged utility. Elias' neural implant buzzed, pulling data from the ship's sensors. Cryon 3 was heavily fortified, its surface pocked with automated turrets and shielded by a quantum distortion field. The tracker keyed to Thalira's unique verdant biology was their target, a device that could pinpoint her anywhere in the galaxy. Destroying it was their only shot at freedom, especially now, with Thalira's pregnancy adding a new layer of urgency. The thought of their unborn child, a hybrid of human and verdant, sent a thrill through Elias, equal parts awe and resolve. Coordinates locked, Elias said, glancing back at Thalira. Cryon 3 a fortress, but Kalia's got schematics from a defector. We hit the control hub, disable the tracker, and get out before they know what hit him. Thalira's scales shimmered, a sign of her growing strength as her pregnancy progressed. My people faced such fortresses once, she said, her voice a melodic rumble like wind through ancient groves. We toppled them with root and vine. This moon will fare no better. Elias grinned, his hand brushing her ankle, the touch now a ritual that grounded them both. That's the spirit, just don't topple me in the process. Her golden eyes sparkled with mischief. No promises, small one, you are temptingly toppleable. Kalia's voice crackled over the comm, her tone sharp with her usual sarcasm. Save the flirting for after we're not dead, you two. My defector says the outpost run by Director Vren, you met him on Silvara. He's got a vendetta and a new toy, a quantum pulse array, not as nasty as their planet killers, but it'll fry anything organic in range. Elias jaw tight. Vren's persistent. What's the array's weakness? Power grid exposed in the sublevels, Kalia replied. Take it out and the tracker goes dark, but it's crawling with guards. And Elias, the defector mentioned something weird. Consortium's got verdant tech, old stuff scavenged from Thalira's people. Thalira's scales flared, her voice hardening. They defile our legacy. Whatever they've taken, I will reclaim or destroy. Elias nodded, his hand lingering on her. Then let's make this quick. Kalia, you and your buddies draw their fire. Thalira and I go in hard and fast. Hard and fast, huh? Kalia snorted. Keep it professional, Thorn. We're dropping in 10. The Void Seeker and Starfang descended toward Cryon 3, cloaked by the moon's ash storms. Elias piloted with precision, dodging turret fire as Kalia's ships engaged the perimeter defenses, their plasma cannons lighting up the gray sky. Thalira crouched in the cargo bay, her massive form tense but steady, her vine-like hair swaying with the ship's movements. This moon is dead, she murmured, her golden eyes scanning the barren landscape through the viewport. No life, no roots. It is an affront to what my people stood for. Then we'll give it a wake-up call, Elias said, landing the Void Seeker in a crater near the outpost service tunnels. He strapped on his pulse rifle, checking his implant's map of the facility. Ready, Thalira? She rose, her 30-foot frame barely fitting through the bay doors. Always my route. They emerged into the ash storm, Thalira's green skin a beacon in the gray haze. Elias led the way, his rifle raised, while Thalira moved with surprising stealth, her massive strides silent on the rocky terrain. The service tunnel's entrance was guarded by automated drones, their scanners whirring. Elias hacked their systems with his implant, disabling them, but not before one sent an alert. We're on the clock, he muttered, blasting the lock and diving inside. The tunnel was a maze of pipes and conduits, lit by flickering blue lights. Thalira had to crawl, her scales scraping the walls, but her golden eyes burned with determination. This place reeks of greed, she said, her voice echoing. They strip worlds bare just as they tried to strip me. Elias glanced back, his heart aching at her words. Not anymore, we're ending this. They reached the sublevels where the power grid hummed, its quantum conduits pulsing with energy. Guards patrolled in exosuits, their weapons trained for verdant physiology. Elias took point, his rifle dropping 2 before they could react. Thalira surged forward, her massive hand swatting a third into a wall, the impact crumpling his armor. Stay behind me, she said, her voice fierce. They will not touch you, he smirked, dodging a blast. Trying to steal my hero moment, her laugh like rustling leaves filled the tunnel. You have enough moments, small one. They fought through waves of guards, Elias' precision complementing Thalira's raw power. She tore through barriers like paper, her green skin unscathed by glancing shots, her verdant resilience a marvel. Elias' implant guided them to the control hub, a vast chamber dominated by a glowing quantum core, the tracker's heart. Consoles lined the walls, displaying data on verdant biology, including scans of Thalira's DNA. Above the core, a holographic display flickered, showing fragments of ancient verdant tech, a crystalline device pulsing with green light, its design eerily similar to Thalira's scales. They stole a starseed, Thalira whispered, her voice trembling with rage. Our sacred tool for creating life, they've corrupted it into a weapon. Elias' blood ran cold. The pulse array, they are using your people's tech against you. Before they could act, the chamber's doors sealed and Director Vren's voice boomed from hidden speakers. Your predictable human, the verdant's biology led you right to us. A platform descended, revealing Vren in advanced armor, flanked by elite guards and a towering mech wielding the starseed array. Its green glow pulsed ominously, synced to Thalira's presence. Elias raised his rifle, but Thalira stepped forward, her scales flaring. You defile my kin's legacy, Vren. Release the starseed or I will tear this moon apart. Vren's scaled face twisted into a sneer. You're a relic verdant, your kind lost. This array will ensure no one defies the consortium again. The mech fired, a pulse of green energy surging toward Thalira. She dove, shielding Elias, the blast grazing her arm and leaving a scorched mark on her green skin. She roared, uprooting a console and hurling it at the mech, but it countered with another pulse, forcing her back. Elias fired at the guards, his shots precise, but the mech's armor was too strong. Thalira, the core, he shouted. Hit the power grid. She nodded, her golden eyes blazing, and charged the core, her massive fists smashing through its shielding. Sparks flew, the chamber shaking as the grid destabilized. Vren screamed orders, but Elias tackled him, their struggle a blur of fists and claws. Thalira's hand swept in, pinning Vren's guards, but the mech's array powered up, its pulse aimed at her heart. No. Ilias yelled, breaking free and diving for the mech's controls. His implant hacked its systems, stalling the array, but not before it fired a glancing shot. Thalira staggered, her scales dimming, and Ilias' heart stopped. Thalira, she steadied herself, her voice strained but resolute. I'm still here, small one. With a final surge, she smashed the core of the tracker, shutting down in a cascade of sparks. The mech faltered, its starseed dimming, and Ilias finished it with a point-blank shot to its power cell. The chamber fell silent save for the hum of failing systems. Vren, pinned under debris, spat curses, but Ilias ignored him, rushing to Thalira. Her green skin was pale, her golden eyes flickering. You're hurt, he said, his hands on her arm, the scorched scales rough under his touch. A wound, she said, her voice soft. But our child is unharmed, I feel it strong like us. Ilias' implant confirmed it, the pulse had weakened her, but the pregnancy was stable. He exhaled, relief flooding him. You're tougher than this, moon, Thalira. Kalia's voice crackled through his comm. Thorn outpost in chaos. We've got a clear shot to exfil. Move. Thalira lifted Ilias, cradling him against her chest, her strength returning. They fled through collapsing tunnels, the starseed array clutched in her hand, a piece of her people reclaimed. The Void Seeker and Starfang awaited outside, Kalia's crew covering their escape. As they boarded, a new alert flashed. A consortium fleet was mobilizing, led by Zilk himself, determined to reclaim the starseed. They don't quit, Ilias muttered, setting the Void Seeker's course for Silvara. That starseed's their endgame. What does it do? Thalira held the crystal, its green glow pulsing in sync with her scales. It creates life or destroys it if corrupted. They want to weaponize it, control worlds as my people once nurtured them. Kalia, joining them in the cargo bay, whistled. That's one hell of a prize, no wonder they're pissed. What's the play, Thorn? Ilias looked at Thalira, her golden eyes steady despite her wounds. We go back to Silvara, the jungle's our fortress. We use the starseed to protect it, make it a sanctuary for our kid, for us. Thalira's hand rested on her abdomen, her voice soft but fierce. A new world born of our love. I will fight for it, Ilias, as you fight for me. He placed his hand over hers, their size difference irrelevant in the face of their bond. Then let's show the consortium what happens when you mess with a human and a verdant. As the Void Seeker jumped to hyperspace, Ilias and Thalira sat together, the starseed glowing between them. The consortium's fleet loomed, but their love, a force as vast as the galaxy, would face it head-on. Silvara awaited, a promise of home, and their unborn child a symbol of hope. The twin moons of Silvara hung low, their silver light filtering through the violet canopy, casting a glow across Thalira's emerald-green skin. The verdant giantess stood in a vast clearing, her 30-foot frame a pillar of strength amid the humming jungle, her forest vine hair swaying as if stirred by an unseen wind. Her golden, pupilless eyes gleamed with resolve, one massive hand resting protectively on her swollen abdomen, where their unborn child, a hybrid of human and verdant, stirred with a life that defied the galaxy's rules. Captain Ilias Thorn stood at her side, his leather jacket scarred from Cryon 3 battle, his brown hair damp with Silvara's humid air, and his hazel eyes sharp as he monitored the Void Seeker's sensor array. The consortium's fleet, led by the tentacled traitor Zilk, was closing in, their ships armed with a corrupted verdant starseed, a sacred tool-turned-weapon capable of raising worlds or creating them. The Void Seeker rested in the clearing, its hull patched but ready, flanked by Kalia's Starfang and 2 smugglers' ships, their crews prepping for the fight. Ilias' neural implant buzzed with data, 12 consortium vessels, including Zilk's flagship, the Oblivion Spear, equipped with the starseed array. The jungle around them pulsed, its bioluminescent flora responding to Thalira's presence, roots shifting beneath the soil as if ready to rise. Ilias glanced up at her, his hand brushing her ankle, the familiar touch grounding them both. They're coming hard, Thalira. Zilk wants that starseed back in you. Her scales flared, a verdant sign of defiance. They will take neither, she said, her voice a melodic thunder like wind through ancient groves. This jungle is my kin, and our child is our future. I will not let them destroy either. Ilias grinned, his pulse rifle slung across his back. That's my girl, we've got the home field advantage. This jungle's yours, and I'm betting it's got a few tricks left. Kalia strode over, her red hair glinting, her cybernetic eyes scanning the sky. You're not wrong, Thorn, my scanners are going haywire. Silvara's minerals are screwing with their targeting systems, but Zilk's got numbers, and that starseed's no joke. Plan. Ilias pointed to the sensor array. We draw them into the jungle. Thalira can control the terrain, vines, roots, the works. Your ships take the high ground, keep their fleet busy. I'll hit their flagship, sabotage the starseed. Thalira's golden eyes narrowed. You will not face Zilk alone, small one. We are roots entwined. He met her gaze, his jaw set. I know, but I'm faster in tight spaces. You hold the ground, keep their troops off me. Together we end this. She knelt, her massive hand cupping his back, her scales warm against his jacket. You risk too much, Ilias Thorn, for me, for our child. He placed both hands on her, his voice soft but fierce. You're my home, Thalira, our kid's my future, no risks too big for that. Her vine-like hair brushed his shoulder, and she pressed her massive lips gently against his chest, their version of a kiss, overwhelming yet tender. Then fight well, my root, I will be your shield, Kalia coughed, smirking. Get a room, you two, or a forest, we've got incoming. The sky darkened as consortium ships breached Silvara's atmosphere, their hulls glinting like predators' eyes. The Oblivion Spear led, its starseed array glowing green, a perversion of Thalira's heritage. Ilias activated the Void Seeker's defenses, its turrets firing plasma bolts to disrupt their formation. Kalia's ships roared upward, engaging the fleet in a blaze of cannon fire. Jungle trembled and Thalira raised her hands, her scales pulsing in sync with the flora. Vines erupted from the soil, snaking toward landing shuttles, crushing their hulls before troops could deploy. Elias sprinted toward the Void Seeker, his implant mapping a path to the flagship's landing zone. Thalira strode behind him, her massive steps shaking the earth, her golden eyes blazing as she commanded the jungle. Roots burst through the ground, entangling consortium soldiers, their screams swallowed by the foliage. "Stay sharp, small one," she called, hurling a tree at a shuttle, forcing it to crash. "I'm always sharp," Elias shouted, dodging a quantum blast. His rifle dropped two guards, their exosuits sparking as they fell. His implant pinged, the Oblivion spear was landing in a nearby valley, its array charging. He hacked a consortium drone, using its signal to mask his approach, and slipped into the valley, the flagship's massive form looming. Inside, the ship was a labyrinth of corridors, lit by the eerie green glow of the starseed. Elias moved silently, his implant guiding him to the array's control chamber. Guards patrolled, but his smuggler's instincts kept him hidden, slipping through vents and shadows. He reached the chamber where the starseed pulsed on a pedestal, its energy linked to a network of quantum conduits. Zilk stood before it, his tentacles writhing, his multiple eyes gleaming with greed. "You're tenacious human," Zilk hissed, his voice amplified by the chamber's acoustics. "But the Verdant's power is mine. This starseed will reshape worlds for a price." Elias raised his rifle, his voice cold. "It's not yours to sell, Zilk. It's Thalira's legacy, and I'm taking it back." Zilk laughed, his tentacles triggering a trap. Energy fields snapped up, pinning Elias against the wall, his rifle clattering to the floor. "You're out of your depth, smuggler. The Verdant will be recaptured and her child our next asset." Rage surged through Elias, but before he could respond, the ship shook violently. Thalira's voice boomed outside, her words carrying through the hull. "Zilk, you defile my kin's creation, face me." The jungle had followed her, vines breaching the flagship's hull, tearing through metal like paper. Thalira's massive hand smashed through a bulkhead, her green skin glowing as she ripped the chamber open. Zilk's guards fired, but their shots glanced off her scales, her verdant resilience unyielding. She scooped Elias free, her golden eyes fierce. "I told you, small, when we fight together." Elias grinned, grabbing his rifle. "Can't argue with that." Together they assaulted the chamber, Elias' shots disabling the conduits while Thalira crushed guards with precise, devastating blows. Zilk activated the starseed, its green pulse surging, but Thalira's hand closed around it, her scales sinking with its energy. "This is mine," she roared, her voice shaking the ship. The jungle responded, roots piercing the hull, draining the array's power, but Zilk wasn't done. He triggered a failsafe and the starseed's energy spiked, threatening to overload and destroy Silvara's ecosystem. Elias' implant screamed warnings, and he dove for the control console, hacking its systems. "Thalira, hold it steady, I can reroute the energy." Her scales dimmed, the effort taxing her, but she nodded, her golden eyes locked on his. "I trust you, my root." Elias worked frantically, his fingers flying over the controls, redirecting the starseed's power into the jungle itself. The clearing outside glowed, the flora absorbing the energy, growing taller, stronger, their bioluminescence blinding. The Oblivion spear groaned, its systems failing as the jungle reclaimed its power. Zilk lunged, his tentacles wrapping around Elias, but Thalira's hand swept in, pinning him to the floor. "No more," she said, her voice thunderous. "Your greed ends here." The starseed stabilized, its glow softening, and Elias exhaled, slumping against Thalira's hand. The flagship system shut down, and Kalia's voice crackled through. "Thorn, you alive? The fleet's retreating, jungles tearing them apart." "We're good," Elias replied, his hand on Thalira's scales. "Zilk's down, starseed secure." Thalira lifted him to her chest, her golden eyes softening. "You saved Silvara, small one, and us." He grinned, his heart racing. Team effort, love. They emerged from the wrecked flagship, the jungle now a fortress of towering trees and glowing vines, a testament to the starseed's true purpose. Kalia landed, her crew cheering as they secured the remaining consortium troops. Zilk, bound by vines, was handed to the smugglers, who promised to deliver him to a Terran Alliance tribunal. As dawn broke over Silvara, painting the sky in shades of amber and violet, Elias and Thalira stood in the clearing, the starseed cradled in her hand. Her pregnancy was advancing, her abdomen visibly swollen, and Elias' implant confirmed the child's vitality, its unique biology pulsing with verdant energy. "This place," Thalira said, her voice soft, "will be our home, a sanctuary for our daughter where she can grow without fear." Elias placed his hand on her, marveling at her strength. "A new world, Thalira, for her, for us." Kalia, leaning against the starfang, smirked. "You two are disgustingly sweet, but you've got my vote for sanctuary status. I've got contacts in the Alliance, they'll back you." Over the following weeks, Elias and Thalira worked to shape Silvara into a haven. The starseed, now purified, was planted in the clearing, its energy nurturing the jungle, creating fields of glowing flora and clean water sources. The Terran Alliance, swayed by Kalia's network and Elias' smuggler charm, granted Silvara protected status, recognizing Thalira as its guardian and their child as a citizen of both worlds. One evening, as the twin moons rose, Elias stood before Thalira, holding a ring crafted from the Voidseeker's hull, its metal infused with Silvara's bioluminescent minerals. "Thalira," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "you're my home, my root, my everything. Marry me." Her golden eyes filled with tears, and she knelt, pressing her lips gently against his entire body, their kiss a bridge across their differences. "Yes, Elias Thorn," she whispered, "1,000 times yes." Their daughter, born months later, was a marvel, green-skinned with hazel eyes, her tiny form radiating verdant energy. They named her Lyra, a name meaning harmony, a symbol of their union. Silvara flourished, a sanctuary where size and species meant nothing, only love and courage. Elias and Thalira, now married, stood together under the glowing canopy, their daughter cradled in Thalira's hand, Elias' arm around her finger. "They called you a monster," Elias said, looking up at Thalira, "but you're the heart of this world." "And you," she replied, her voice a song, "dared to see me, to touch me, to love me. Our story will echo beyond the stars." As Lyra cooed, her tiny hand glowing with starseed light, the jungle sang, a chorus of life welcoming a new era. The galaxy might not be ready for a human verdant child, but Silvara was, and its guardians, Elias and Thalira, would ensure it thrived, a testament to love's boundless power.